hustle every day to find picks. You can tell us if you wanna get rich. It's population. We robbing underdog and prize picks. We the best in this biz. You ain't telling us shit. Population. We love making money quick, fast. Cooking up a team card, the whole crew about to smash. Population. We do it for the fam, so everybody let's cash. The dopest team you ever seen. Winning money, stacking G's. Boogie setting traps, but they'll never catch me. Some people get addicted like rats to the cheese, but I got one obligation to bring Johnny to his knees. Holding back the rocks till the morning he knows. They'll be fishing in the shack, plotting nukes with the pros. Only with craw, never reload. Elevated to my amigos. We go with honest, we singing the bloods. We know when the fucking cheat code. Party that I'm sweating, they can't be good for my health. Some may call it making bets, I call it investing in myself. I'm picking props like stocks, population for the win. Got my sips in by the buzzer now, let the games begin. It's population. It's population. It's population. We do it for the fam, so everybody let's cash.
All right, what is up, crew? We got a weird slate today. So imagine people come in a little bit later. We pushed back an hour because there's some late news coming in. They took props off the board, but it looks like we're getting props back. But yeah, we got a real late start with all West Coast games, 10 p.m. Eastern for all three games. And last night was interesting. It was pretty good overall. And Eric hit on the first day, hit the 6th pick, right? Want to tell the crew about that?
Yeah, hit our first 6 pick, and they were all first half props too. So it was pretty exciting to see. Had a pretty decent night overall, and hopefully the community did as well.
That's good, man. That's good. It's a good way to start that off. Yeah, I think there's been a lot of blowouts lately, so first half props have been a little bit more favorable in some spots. So might be the case today. We got a couple games that have pretty high blowout potential, 2 of the 3. So, but you never know. NBA regular season teams, even with starters out, the bench can rise up to the occasion. Yeah. So I guess let's catch up on news. We had late news that Keldon Johnson was a midday downgrade to questionable, as well as Doug McDermott, who's been playing around 18 minutes off the bench. But the Spurs they're thin. They're very thin. Prior to the Keldon Johnson news and McDermott, they already had so many guys out. They had Langford out, Wesley out, Collins is out for extended time. Their rookie Branham is out. And then now potentially throw in Keldon and McDermott, they're probably going to be down to, if both of them are out, they're going to be down to probably 9 active players. So, and we mentioned this earlier in the week. The Spurs are on a really long, brutal road trip this week. They've already played a back-to-back. They play again today. Then they play another back-to-back on Saturday and Sunday against the Lakers and the Clippers. So it's not surprising that there's potential rest spots here for guys like Keldon. But, let's see. Hopefully he plays. They'll keep that game closer. But, Spurs, in the past we've seen last season, even with the skeleton crew, they can rise to the occasion, and Pop can work his magic. And I've seen him keep games close last season against really good teams. So with just bench players. Yeah, so we'll have to watch out for that news. Probably not going to get till, I assume, around an hour before lock because he's a true game time decision. But we could talk about some if he's out. And then I guess other news we're waiting on is Nurk. He remains questionable. He came back and played last game, but he was pretty limited in minutes. We'll see on his news. And then any other key news I'm missing on?
Scroll back through it. Keegan Murray's now unlikely to play, and we're just
Right.
waiting on Paul George news.
Right, and then the Paul George, and then Kawhi was upgraded to questionable after being out for extended. He was already ruled out or doubtful, and then earlier today he was upgraded. So that game's gonna be interesting. Okay, well let's start with the Nets at Portland. This one is a little more clear cut besides the Nurk news, so should be able to navigate through this one okay. It's only a 2.5 point spread in favor of the home team, the Blazers. Obviously, the Nets are coming off that embarrassing loss where they gave up 153 points in regulation, and KD, after the game, said some pretty negative things about the team overall, saying, "What do you expect me to do with the guys that we have out here?" So I don't know. I've been talking about it with the crew. It's like either these guys rally around each other, and kind of rise to the occasion after KD and get motivated by his comment, or they just kind of give up on him and the team and just play like they did against the Kings with no motivation or heart. They looked defeated on the bench if you're during that game. They just totally gave up. So Vegas thinks they're gonna rally, and keep it close. I will say the Blazers are 11-3 against the spread this season so far. So high chance that they cover this spread easily, but never know. I mean, the Nets were playing good basketball prior to that blowout to the Kings. I mean, the Kings shot lights out in that game too from three. I think Terrence Davis was like 7-10 from three or something crazy like that. So this is a bounce back spot for them. Blazers defense is nothing to be afraid of. It's unfortunate that we don't have Sumner props. I feel like we've never had him on Prize Picks. Is that true?
Yeah, they've never given us them. It'd
He's
be
been
nice
on
to have.
Underdog.
Yeah, especially his first half props would be really nice.
Yeah, he's been very efficient and aggressive attacking the basket. And I feel like, he suffered an Achilles injury last year, so he's trying to ramp back up, and his minutes are still hovering in that 22 to 25 range. So keep an eye out for his props, though. I think this is a good scoring spot for him. But yeah, is this what's your thoughts? Do the Nets rally back, and does KD go off against Dame here in a primetime game, or do we get kind of more of the same what we saw against the Kings? What's your overall game script theory?
Yeah, I think it'll be very telling in the first half if this game's even going to be remotely close or not. I would like to think that this would be a game that they can bounce back. Portland, as you mentioned, their defense is nothing to be scared of. So on paper, I would like to say yes, but we'll know fairly early, I think. And with this team, there's just been so much drama, so much off the court stuff going on with this team, and that definitely weighs on players like KD, who's just out there doing Luka-like things. They're putting the entire team on their shoulder and just trying to do everything, and it's going to get to you. So I would keep an eye out for that. And also just kind of like in game theory, if this game is in fact going to blow out, just hammer those second half unders, for some of these players who aren't getting minutes or who aren't going to get really any of the floor time in the fourth quarter. So I would say
that's a really sharp call. Yeah, you could tell with the Nets too, just by the body language and flow, and get those second half props right when they come on the board. If it looks like they're just defeated.
Yeah, and in some of these games with fairly high difference going into half, players like Royce O'Neal and Joe Harris that are kind of getting worked back into the offense, they won't see much action in the second half. So
right,
if
it's gonna be like Cam Thomas and
yeah, exactly, trying to work in these other players. And I mean, who knows? By trade deadline, we might see this entire team be completely different.
Sure. Yeah, they might blow it up. Never know. Games like this are going to be a real telling point of this team. This team's trajectory the rest of the season, especially leading up to trade deadline. They did hold a team meeting recently And I read that it was the focal point was Ben Simmons and that he needs to be used more and more accountable and more productive. KD said, like, if you're out there playing, then there's no excuse in terms of health and your back. And he kind of responded. He was way more aggressive than usual. He put up 11 points in that game. Maybe he gets more run here. Underdog has been posting his props, so let's see what they post him at. But yeah, he's been backing up Claxton at the 5, but I mean, who knows? They might just change up rotation big time here. But yeah, I mean, let's start before we get to KD. Let's start with guys like Claxton. He's kind of been up and down since that eye injury. If you look at his like productivity in his minutes, you click on him and it's like, oh, what's going on? But I mean, he had that eye injury. He left the game early against the Lakers. Then he came back and played against the Kings, but didn't really play that much. And again, that was a blowout. And they basically just went to Ben Simmons for a lot of the run here in the second and third quarter, and then just finished out with the bench crew. His fantasy is pretty low at 28.5. If Nurk is out, he's going to be getting Eubanks. A lot of block upside for Claxton there. Can you trust his minutes in production here? Or are you going to wait and see on Nurk news?
Yeah, I don't think, honestly, Nurk really scares me that much because he didn't look that healthy in this last
Sure.
game coming back. I like Claxton. I mean, as a player, I've always liked him, and I think he's very productive. If he's going to be on the floor, especially, I mean, just a couple games ago, his fantasy prop was at 32.5. So we're definitely catching it on a good decline here. If he's going to be on the floor, I like him. I want to say
Poeltl just had a career game against the Blazers.
Yeah,
2 days
exactly.
ago, right? I mean, went absolutely nuclear.
Yeah, and he's way, way better of a player. So I would like to think that, yes, his fantasy or fantasy rebound first half, fantasy PRA, something like that is definitely going to be in play. If he's going to be on the floor, we got green lights there. But if this game blows out, then as you saw in that minutes rotation, he's not going to see any play in the second half.
Correct. You're gonna have guys like Simmons, Markieff Morris, coming in and playing the 5. Yeah, I think it all depends on what you think is gonna happen game script wise. If it's gonna stay close enough long enough, his fantasy is always live because of his stock upside. So his first half fantasy is taxed a little bit, not by much, by 0.5. So if you're worried about the blowout, you can go with that. But he can get in foul trouble, so early foul trouble, so that could be a concern for first half props. So something to keep in mind. What about, how do we feel about Royce O'Neal? So he's been so up and down, right? Like at times he looks like Bruce Brown for the Nets last year, where he's like kind of just a Swiss Army knife doing it all. He's racking up assists, getting rebounds, scoring at times. And then other times he just ghosts out there. Do you like any props for him, or are you too nervous of his inconsistencies?
I'm a little nervous, but there's gonna be a lot of 3-point attempts going up in this matchup, or at least I hope so. There should be,
Sure.
at least from Portland's side. He can be productive, and Portland does turn the ball over a fair amount here. So if we're gonna basically be lumping him in the same position as if he gets some minutes. On paper, he looks pretty good. They haven't really messed with his props too much. Probably just a fantasy, honestly. He plays heavy minutes if he's going to be out there, and
about 36 to 38 minutes if it's a normal game.
Yeah, he's too streaky of a player to rely on one thing, and if he kind of gets into that Bruce Brown mode where he does a little bit of everything, then hopefully that carries over with minutes.
Right. That's kind of my feeling on him, was his PRA or his fantasy. And then again, if you're worried about blowout, his first half PRA is really low. And he should play pretty much 18. He's averaging around 18 minutes in the first half, 18 to 20 minutes. So If you're worried about the blowout, I totally get the first half PRA. It's really low. Because yeah, I mean, his second half minutes, if it's a blowout, he's another guy that just like Claxton, he's gone midway through the third and won't come back. Okay, and then I guess keep an eye out for Sumner props. Maybe Price Picks gives it to us since it's a small slate. I mean, he's a starter, you would think. And I mean, I'm certain he will be posted on Underdog. He's been on there last few games for the Nets. Okay, let's move to KD then. It's hard with him because some games he's gonna go just straight playmaking and distribute, and other games he's gonna just look to score. In that last game against the Kings, he would have easily cleared this 30.5 point line if it wasn't a blowout. I think he had what was it like? Yeah, he had 27 in third and never touched the court in the fourth. So, what is your feeling? Are you playing some cards with his points and then other cards with his rebound assists, or just his straight up assist potential to cover both outcomes, or are you going pretty light on him?
Yeah, I'll be going fairly light on Brooklyn as a whole, to be honest. For Durant, I did like his points just because if he gets that fourth quarter run, he's been flirting around that 30 marker for quite some time. So I do like that. His free throw prop at 8, I think could probably get a look today. Portland does foul a little bit, and if they end up with Nurk out and Eubanks starting, he's definitely going to foul a few times. So I don't mind that prop.
Let's thank you for bringing that up. I have this up ready for us. Let's look at the officiating crew. So history. James Williams, let's look at fouls per game when he is the chief. He, out of all the officiating crew, is calling the least amount of fouls per game at 32.6. To give a reference, the highest is at 50 fouls per game. And
Okay.
he does not favor either home or road team. But just throw that out there. When he is the chief, the crew chief.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know then. Because I mean, we've been having a couple of these back and forth games, or not even games, I'd say slates, where it feels like they're either calling everything or they're not calling anything.
Yeah.
So maybe this is a night they don't call anything.
Data was suggested. I mean, he's calling almost half of less fouls per game than some of these other guys. So, but
Jeez.
it could vary. Obviously, we don't have standard deviation here, standard error to see. But that's just the average. He's calling the least amount of all the fishing crew. But yeah, I mean, KD, I mean, he racks up fouls. He's so good at that. So, and he gets the calls.
Yeah. And then maybe I don't know if I want his fantasy because it is a little taxed, but his PRA is not bad. I think a little lifting needs to be done with the scoring, but he could definitely get there.
Yeah. One key difference on Price Picks and Underdog for him, we do get a 3-point prop for him at 1.5, and we do not get that on Price Picks. But it's always risky going with 3-point props because obviously there's some variance, and he could, make 1-3 but still crush his real points from free throws and just mid-range games. So, but just throw that out there. It's available, and if they're trailing, he's gonna chuck it. Okay, and then are you staying away from Joe Harris? You said in general you're staying away from the Nets, right?
Yeah, I'll be fairly light on them. For Joe, actually, I didn't mind his PRA. It's something that he's, I believe, gone over in the last like 2 out of 3, and obviously just blowout and him sitting in the second half really affects that. But his first initial run that is having, he's being fairly productive, and even though he's missing a couple shots, he's still taking those 3-point attempts. So he's going to be a risky player in that aspect, but some decent upside.
Yeah, it seems like Seth checks in for him for a couple of rotations, so just depends maybe on how Seth is playing. If Seth catches fire, maybe it could eat into Joe a little bit, but yeah, Joe's just not been the same since returning. But it's like Klay Thompson. I mean, the guys who've been out for the entire year from a serious injury, it takes time to get back into the groove of things. I imagine his 3-point shooting is just going to improve over the season, but right now he's shooting really poor from deep. Okay. Yeah, look out for other Nets props. But let's move to the other side, the Blazers. I really like Dame's potential here. I feel like if KD is scoring and pushing the envelope, Dame tends to respond and get motivated the most in this situation scenario. So they haven't moved his points. It's still at 24.5. I think on Underdog it's at 25.5. I just feel like it's just Dame. This would be a game where he goes off. It's Dame time. Like, I mean, he was out for a little bit period of time and then came back for the last 2 games, and he was rusty as expected coming back, missing a little bit of time. He was shooting like 2-9 from 3, but we know how he is. Once he catches fire from 3, it's a wrap. He's just gonna keep chucking. So he has been racking up the assists because how well guys like Simons and Grant, especially Grant, how well they're shooting from the field. I mean, Grant's shooting over 50% from 3 over the last 4 games. Crazy numbers, like 5 of 8 last 4. So I guess the best thing to do would be to take Dame's points in a card and then go with the alternate route and another card with his either assists or rebound assists. What's your thoughts on him, and then any other key Blazers guys you like?
Yeah, I definitely still like Dame. I like the points call just because they haven't really moved that prop at all. And even his points plus assist, we're getting it, I believe, at even right now. And he's got some crazy assist upside. I mean, we saw it this last game where hopefully the shooters around him continue to be able to make their shots. And now seeing the really emergence of Jeremy Grant as I think the number 2 on the team. Like, if he's not being named the number team, he definitely should be. But he's really carrying his weight right now and being able to score very efficiently and get a lot of these rebounds. So I like that. I really like the pair between, say, Grant's points plus rebounds and Dame's assist prop. And you could even throw in for a third and go under on Josh Hart's points. I'm going to ride that train until they take it off.
Yeah, he's a fun one to target for unders on that. Yeah, so it was interesting. Underdog lowered Grant's PR from 25.5 to 24.5. I don't know if it's Underdog is expecting like Nurk to play and play more minutes. I don't know why they did that, but
Yeah.
it's wanted to point that out. But yeah, very high shot volume and high minutes for Grant, so it totally makes sense. I mean, he's playing 38 plus minutes, so and then again, if you're worried about blowout, go with this first half, which he's been very productive, but I believe they juiced his first half since this morning.
Yeah, they opened it back at 13.5, and then either late last night or sometime early this morning, they bumped it to 14.5, but it's still way too low. I mean, he's just doing so much. I mean, he can get there. He got there and has been getting there on just points alone.
Yep. Very, very hot from 3 right now. Yeah, they bumped his points too from 10.5 to 11.5. But I will say, if Vegas is right and this is a close game with a 2-point spread, definitely want access to how many minutes he's going to play. 38 to 40 minutes. So don't just limit yourself to his first half only. If you can make multiple cards. So
yeah, my correlation that I had with it, if you like won a lot of this game, just go with Grant's first half PRA, and then you can run it back with Dame's like full game points or PA.
Yep, makes total sense. And then the last one we didn't talk about, Simons. It's crazy. So his PRA never moved, but it's been sitting over minus 150 in the books, and that's usually the threshold when Prize Picks will bump it. Do you like anything for Simons?
Yeah, I still like his points. Either his points, PRA, his assist rating. I mean, for everybody, is really taking a hit whenever Dame's on the floor. So you run a little bit of risk on the tax there, but they actually have his PR, I think, at like 22.5 on Price Picks, and in this matchup, there should be a pretty fair amount of threes going up. So he could probably fall into a few boards here.
Yeah, guards. It's like top 5 nets allow to guards rebounding. So definitely, yeah, he could definitely snag some boards. That might just get you over the edge if he hooks at like 19 points. Grabs like 4 rebounds or something like that, or hooks at just straight up 20 and gets 3 rebounds. I think his rebounds opened at 2.5 in the books, and it was like way heavy juice on the over. So didn't even get. That's why we didn't even get it as a prop. And yeah, we didn't get it here as well on Underdog. Yeah, Simons is always live for scoring. I always fear Dame. I just feel like, there's a high chance that just he goes off, and when he does, it's gonna kill Simons' scoring potential just due to usage and Dame not looking to pass and score. We saw that early
Yeah.
this season when Dame was putting up 40 plus points in back-to-back games. So
Yeah, and even last time when we were betting on Grant's second half props, everybody on the team just ghost mode. It was all Dame that last like 5 minutes of the game. Everything was Dame.
Yep. You just gotta always keep that in mind.
Yeah, and that's kind of the risk with Simons too, is he's not only taking a backseat to Grant now in the first half, but kind of his play style is he facilitates in the first half, shoots a little bit, and then that third quarter run, he looks to just nothing but shoot. And then you're kind of gambling like, is the game closed? Do we need Dame? Is somebody in foul trouble? Do they both have to be out there? So there's a lot of things that kind of a risk in that later part of the game.
Yeah, and then if he doesn't get it done in that third quarter, that it's going to be a real struggle for him. That's a really good point. I noticed that you'll notice like his points are real low, and then going into the third, he just like gets hot, and then he clears his points right at the end there usually. And yeah, I think a lot of that's just due to Grant dominating the usage in the first half, like you said, and then Dame and others. So okay. I think it's a good strategy. I think just try to, if you can, if you're entering multiple cards, just try to cover both scenarios. And yeah, if Dame just continues to distribute and play make, then go that route, and then obviously cover the route where he just goes off. Okay, let's move to the next game. Let's see. Yeah, late night game is the Detroit game. Let's catch up with chat first. Hey, what up, underrated? Appreciate it. I'm the only one here. Good talk. Hey, better here than ever, right? Appreciate that, man. What up, Jermaine? What up, J. Cole? J. Cole said I took Royce rebounds and Claxton fantasy plus Henry. Nice. I like that. Yeah, Royce has shown spike rebound games. I just don't know how it goes if Simmons starts to play more minutes, if that eats into Royce's rebound potential. But I've not looked into that much, the rebound percentage with Simmons on the court, off the court for Royce. But that could be something you might want to check too if you're considering that. All right, next game, we have the Spurs at the Kings. Like we already said, Keldon and McDermott were midday downgrades. Do we have any updates on that? I imagine we don't.
No, nothing yet.
Okay, well, I guess if Keldon is ruled out, then we'll probably get Josh Richardson sliding in, or we're going to get Diop. Just depends on what Pop wants to do, because Pop seems to favor J. Rich to run the second unit, so I don't know. Yeah, I assume it's gonna be one of the two. And yeah, I guess like Diop was playing some minutes for Trey Jones too when Trey was out as well. Um, yeah, I mean it's such a small crew they have, so it's not much they can do differently. Yeah, Roby props would be interesting too. He's been productive at times when he comes in, and we know that he can be when he was on OKC as well. I imagine he could get some more run here too if Keldon is out and McDermott. Yeah, we're not gonna get any Spurs props really until we get that news. But I know that Underdog had Jay Rich at 10.5 points originally prior to the news, so he's probably gonna go up to 12.5 points. Trey Jones only got bumped by 1. He opened at 11.5 points. His assists stayed the same. And everything else pretty much opened back up the same, except like Vassell went up by 1 point and his PRA went up by 2, I think. So nothing crazy here, but the spread went up to 7.5 in favor of the Kings, who've been playing really great ball. So like I said, there's that risk. I mean, Keldon's a key part of their offense. I mean, he's one of the best 3-point shooters right now in the league in terms of 3-point percentage, and counts for 20 plus points a game, and rebounding and assists as well. So that would be a huge hole to fill. But yeah, what's your thoughts? If Keldon's ruled out, are you gonna pull back? Are you gonna assume that he's gonna be out and just not go that heavy on this game or the Spurs, or just take the first half? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I was kind of leaning into more first half props anyways, but as you mentioned at the start of the stream, these guys they're playing so many games right now, and I think they play again Saturday. On
Saturday.
top of that, yeah. So if this game blows out, they will definitely be playing a flat rotation. We saw Pops do that the other night with Spurs. So it worries me. I would love if either one of McDermott or Keldon can play, but if not, this is going to be a scary matchup. I will say I do have some interest in Pirtle. Just anytime that basically the 1A of the team is out, he really steps up in kind of scoring and trying to facilitate a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But Trey, man, I don't know what's up with him. His ball handling has not been the same. This is usually a person in seasons past that we smash that assist prop if it's under 8 most of the time, and now he's starting to kind of get back to that groove. But the people who he's passing to, I guess, worries me more so than anything, because this is a not a good team.
Yeah, you take out Keldon, who probably counts for a lot of his assists with that 3 ball. Could hurt his assist potential here. Yeah, I mean, he returned and played last game, but only played 22 minutes because the game prior to that he missed because he had a stomach flu. So he was sick. I don't know if that last game that he returned and played 22 minutes, if that was just because he wasn't still 100% healthy and still maybe a little nauseous, ill, or it was just how it's going to be. Some games, if you look at his flow chart, some games he plays 23 minutes and other games he plays 30. It's just Pop's rotation and what he wants to do development wise. He seems to really favor Sohan and the rookie and wants to get him actually running point a lot more now. So I have no idea. I assume with Keldon out though, you got to imagine that Trey's gonna play 30 plus minutes here. And yeah, like you said, his main forte is playmaking. So, but you're taking out one of his best shooters around him. Are you gonna stay away from the assist if Keldon is ruled out?
In the mindset of, if I think we get 3 late quarters of play here, I'll probably have a slip with some kind of a game stack with like his assist and either Pirtle something or Trey or Devin Vassell, maybe his PRA, but there's no comfortable clicks coming out of this game, or at least from this side of things, like at all.
I know. Yeah, I mean 30 plus minutes. He could get there with the playmaking. Yeah, you just need Pirtle and J Rich and Vassell to shoot really well. Yeah, you brought up a good point about Pirtle. I think his rebound assist, since we don't have his assist prop, could be in play. But again, Keldon, if he's out, that's gonna take a hit on him for his playmaking potential. But yeah, he's definitely racking up assists, and the Kings are allowing by far the most stuff. So great assist potential here for him, but the rebounding can be tough against guys like Trey Lyles and Sabonis, who are really good rebounders. And the Kings will take a lot of threes with Herter and Fox and others. So it's a nervous click. But yeah, he definitely has the upside for the rebound plus assists, Pirtle. So I'm with you on that. And then yeah, like I mentioned, Sohan, he opened at six flat RA. I like that, but now it's up to 6.5. If Keldon's out, you can still consider it. I mean, that's even more playmaking duties for him, because Keldon at times would playmake and ball handle a lot, but now Sohan is going to have to do it even more so. And he's been rebounding a lot more lately since he's taken on this new power forward point role where you're kind of like a Draymond. So you could definitely consider it. The only problem with him is foul trouble. He's a rookie, and he does rack up fouls quite often. He's usually sitting around 4 or 5 fouls. So he had 5 fouls last game. But I mean, Pop is putting him on the best scorer on the other team in the last handful of games. He put him on, had him shadow Steph when they played the Warriors, and had him shadow Dame. So naturally he's going to rack up the fouls. I imagine he's going to be on Fox today. So keep that in mind if you want to consider Fox's free throw props, which we'll get to. I got some interesting stuff on that. Okay. Any other interest? I mean, are you interested in Vassell's first half? Even with Keldon playing, he's been pretty productive. They bumped his PRA by 1 for his first half prop.
Yeah, I liked his PRA, and also
they're still not giving us points.
Yeah, I figured they probably wouldn't this time. But we did get Pirtle points, and I think that at least for the first half, whenever their like lead ball handler is out, he takes quite a few more shots in that first half duration.
Sure.
Pretty much same kind of thought processes. I'm sure Sabonis first half points. Just being under 10, I like that bar.
Yeah. Okay, anything else for the Spurs?
Not right now, no.
Okay. Well, speaking of Sabonis and the Kings, let's move over to that side. I totally agree with you. I love Sabonis's first half point potential here, especially if you're worried about the blowout if Keldon is rolled out. He's been crushing that prop. I think he's missed it maybe 2 or 3 times this season, or maybe the first few games when he wasn't really looking to score. But now that he's like more dominant in offense and more involved in offense, and Keegan being out too, less 3-point volume shooting from Keegan. I really like this, because I think even if it doesn't blow out, it's still great potential in this first half, and definitely feels good for insurance policy if we get a blowout here. Do you agree? Do you like that prop, or do you like a full game more so like his 6 assists?
And yeah, I really like the first half prop. I'm not gonna lie. He's been crushing that, and even going back further than that, he's pretty much all season being able to put up a lot of shots in the first half. And also, I think especially if we get Bates Diop starting, that dude's a foul magnet, and he will hack.
Yep, that's a good point. I mean, yeah, Diop's gonna play. He's gonna have to play big minutes if Keldon's out. So, Roby will foul as well. Only problem with Sabonis is he's just not a good free throw shooter, but he does get to the line a lot. So as long as he's shooting, 67% can live with it. You just need 10 points in the first half. Are you considering his assist prop as like an alternate play in a separate card, or are you worried about not getting that full game run? I mean, he's still in that blowout against the Nets. He did not touch the court in the fourth quarter, and he still cleared that assist line. But keep in mind that the Kings shot almost 50% as a team from three in that game. They made over 23s and shot almost 60% from the field. It was one of the best shooting nights in like franchise history, they said. So take that with a grain of salt, but he did get it done in 3 quarters.
Yeah, I still don't mind it. I think it's a good pair that you could run with Fox's full game points.
Yep. Yeah, see, Sabonis played pretty much 3/4 of the third, and then he did not play in the fourth. Okay. Speaking of Fox, what do you like for him? He got juiced on pretty much everything. His points opened at 24.5, got juiced at 25.5. His assists opened at 6.5. Now we're at 7. Do you have a lean on the speedy Fox?
Yeah, I still like his points assist, honestly. There's a lot of, I think, wiggle room for assist potential, and with his scoring upside, sky's the limit here. I really like them both being at home right now because they've been playing just lights out there.
Mm-hmm.
But with Keegan out, I think that he could probably squeeze in another 2 to 3 shots here.
Yeah.
Probably 4 to 6 additional shots to go around between him and Sabonis. And Barnes really isn't looking to score that much. And I think with Keegan being off the floor now, he'll probably just focus more on grabbing the rebounds and then trying to set the pick and roll as like the third party for both Fox and Sabonis here. So I think for Fox, just how you build your cards will be kind of key. I actually don't mind Sabonis's rebound too, but that's something that we are definitely going to need full game run for.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is fairly juiced.
Yeah.
But say if you were building for a full game, I would probably go for his rebounds, maybe his RA, and then pair that back with like Fox's points or PA.
Yeah. No, you bring up a good point. So Keegan accounted for a lot of shots when he played good minutes at home. Took a lot of shots from 3, and he shoots so much better at home. He even talks about it like being a rookie. He said he feels so much comfortable shooting at home, and it shows. His 3-point percentage is way higher at home, and it's awful on the road. A lot of those threes, Fox accounted for those. Fox racked up a lot of assists through Keegan, but Huerter has been shooting really well from 3, and Fox gets a lot of his assists through him as well. Just keep that in mind. I agree that Fox shot volume should go up here with Keegan out. And it just depends on who they fill in for Keegan. I imagine it's going to be I don't know if it's going to be Monk. They like Monk to run the second unit. I think it's going to be I don't know. I think they could run Davion at the 2. They could even slide in Trey Lyles. They like a lot, and just move Huerter to the 2 spot. Yeah, we'll have to see on that lineup. I don't know if it's going to be Monk.
I could see Lyles. I could see that.
Yeah. Mike Brown really likes them. And that's huge. If Lyles starts, that he's a rebound like prop killer. He loves to just snag all the rebounds he can, so that can hurt rebound potential for a lot of the other guys. Kind of like a Torrey Craig, where we see with the Suns, like just focusing on rebounding so much. So keep that in mind for like PRAs and guys like Sabonis and others. But that if you have Trey Lyles starts, he's a decent 3-point shooter, but that could hurt the assist potential. But Huerter, he does rotate in and out for Keegan at times. And I noticed that when Keegan went out out in that game where he got hurt with his back. Herder immediately checked in and then never checked back out until the fourth quarter. So he played the entire rest of the second quarter and then played the entire third quarter. So it could be definitely a boost in shot volume for Herder as well, and minutes too. Do you have any interest in him? And if you do, would you go with this PRA or just his straight up points for his shooting potential?
Yeah, I have a little bit of interest already, but especially if Keegan does get in fact ruled out, I think just straight up points. I mean, that's all he does is just chuck it from three. He facilitates a little bit, but I think really contingent on who else is going to be starting. He might not get any rebounds whatsoever. So
yeah, great point. Yeah, if Lyles is out there with him, yeah.
Yeah, so I think if either Lyles or Metu, either of those guys start tonight, rebounding props are going to be off the table. You could probably even consider, especially with the blowout potential, going under on Sabonis's rebounds since it's so juiced right now. He hasn't been hitting that unless he gets that fourth quarter run.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we need to look at the starting lineup. Keegan is pretty much out at this point, so we can assume to be out. Okay. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to play Herder's points and Fox points in the same card. You know, they both clear. Just if I play Fox points, I'm thinking that he's just going Fox mode where he just puts his head down and is just going to stop attacking the basket and not looking to distribute, which he does at times. So. Yeah, I remember towards the end of last season, after they acquired Sabonis, he started building repertoire of Sabonis, and there was the stain that Fox was like racking up assists. But there would be a period where he would just say, "All right, I'm taking over. I'm just going to score and not pass," and he would just not have many assists at all. So, just the kind of player he is. Deep down, he's still just a slasher, bucket getter. So, yeah, he has been racking up assists, but just keep that in mind. So back to the free throws. I know Fox has basically been sitting around 3 free throws a game for majority of this season to start and a lot of end of last season. But interestingly, we talked about how Sohan fouls and a lot of the other Spurs guys. But if we look at the referee in this game, it is Brent, and Brent is right up there near the top in fouls per game at 44, but he has a huge, one of the biggest preference for fouls called on the road team. So he really favors the home team and calls a much larger percentage ratio for the away team. So keep that in mind. I think Sohan will foul Fox a lot, and Sohan probably will be shadowing Fox. And Fox will attack the basket. But yeah, it's just he can be up and down with the free throw shooting for sure. And then Sabonis, we already talked about, he's a foul magnet, but at times he can miss a lot of free throws. I think you probably want full run here for this prop. You have any leans on the free throw for them?
Yeah, I like those calls. I think they're in play, but definitely need to run it as a full game card and not hope. Because, I mean, Sabonis could, even best case scenario, I think we've seen him get to the line maybe for 4 to 5 attempts, like tops in the first half. And that's assuming teams will be in, bonus foul trouble. But if he doesn't get that in the second half and he's just sitting at that 3 and 4 marker, he might not get to the line again.
Yeah. Spurs overall in the season are pretty good about keeping the hands to themselves. They're allowing the third least free throw attempts. But that's season average data, obviously, and the lineup has changed so much since then, especially with all these guys out. So can't take that full for what it is, face value. Okay. And then I think, with Keegan out, back to our thing with Fox getting a little bit more shot volume here, especially probably outside shooting to make up for, because Keegan, that's all he does is take out threes. You could definitely go back to Fox's 3-point prop. He hooked last game. I think he shot, what did he shoot? 1 of 8 or something like that.
Yeah, one of 7, 8, something like that.
Yeah. So it's a low line. And if you think, yeah, you know, he's gonna take more shots here with Keegan out, don't mind that. Little lower line to sweat rather than the full points. Okay. Any questions from chat?
We got a couple new ones.
Hey, what up, guys? What up, Alex? Hey, what up, Lorenza? Best of business. I appreciate that, man. Lorenzo, our boy. Yeah, forgot about Ben. Exit screaming. What is the best long-term strategy for playing 2 or 3 pick power plays? 5 or 6 flex plays. I think 2 or 3 pick. Especially on underdog, the 3 pick, it's 6x value, so definitely better value over there for the 3 picks. But for building bankroll and really having a high hit rate, the 2 or 3 for sure. In my opinion. Especially if you core like say 4 or 5 plays you really like, or 4 to 6, and then you just rotate them different combinations. I think you can really build your bankroll over time.
Yeah, and some of that's kind of dependent on the slate size too. Like tonight I would not be running heavy 5, 6 picks.
That's a great point. Really, I'm glad you brought that up. Slate's less than 5. I think it's really ideal to have the 2 or 3 picks for sure. Or if you wanna flex, you want a 5 pick, you know, mix in some other sports like college basketball or football, maybe, which we can get to at the end here. Lawrence said, my man Jake Puddle also nice. Jakob Pertl about to go off. Hey man, see if he can keep that hot streak going. He was absolutely unstoppable. Stomach flu, stayed out too late at the club. Yeah, maybe. Jeremy said we know Josh partying with Jeff Bezos. Was on the he was sick. I could have sworn I saw him partying with Mark Cuban. I wish, man. I wish. Jay said, how do you guys feel about this bet Dame PA, Fox PA, Herder points, and Sabonis assists? I would maybe. I probably maybe would just go Fox points instead of PA. I know he can clear rack up assists with Sabonis, but I just don't want the negative correlation. What do you think, E?
Yeah, that's the only thing that I might just go a different route with, because they are double dipping.
Yeah, because they can't eat into each other. I mean, lately they've been getting it done together, but they can definitely. One of them can have a huge spike assist game and hurt the other. Okay. You want to talk about this game?
Yeah, what we can.
All right. Well, Paul George remains questionable, I assume. He showed up at shoot-arounds, but he was just dribbling around, they said. They said don't take anything serious with that. We still don't know. Kawhi Leonard was a upgrade. He could easily play 10 to 12 minutes. We've seen when he's slated to play, we've seen him not even play the entire first half. So no idea with that. What we do know is that Luke Kennard is out, and it seems like John Wall is going to play. No rest management here because they don't play tomorrow. They play probably, I think, on Saturday or Sunday. Yeah, so I mean, with Kennard out, that's gonna be more minutes for Terrence Mann, and yeah, we're obviously gonna split minutes between Reggie and John Wall at the point. If Paul George is out, it's gonna be a huge boost for assists potential for both Reggie and John Wall. Would you have any interest? I believe Reggie right now is at 4 assists, right? Or did they take it off the board after the Kawhi news?
Yeah, they pulled all the props on Prize
Okay,
Picks.
oh no, it's back. 4 assists. I think Tito posted earlier this morning, like the assist potential boost for Reggie is really high when Paul George is out, which makes sense. I mean, Paul George was, you know, averaging close to 5 assists per game, around 4.5. Would you have any interest? Are you worried about John Wall? Because we've seen it all season. When John Wall is not on rest management and he's playing, it just really eats into Reggie. But if Paul George is out, it's a whole nother issue, right? So, what is your thoughts? Are you staying away, or would you consider either Reggie or John Wall's assists? Let's say John Wall's opens at his normal 4.5.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it opens at 4.5, but I would definitely have interest in him or in John Walls at 4.5. But I think Reggie could definitely be in play. The only thing with him that kind of worries me a little bit is he kind of turns into less playmaking and more just he's shooting the ball and nobody else. So there is a little bit of risk with that. And I don't want to tout for his PA because if he's not scoring, then he's going to need a ton of assists here. But they're so shorthanded right now. And, even last game, Marcus Morris, he didn't really even take that many field goal attempts. It really wasn't until like late in the third, fourth quarter where he started actually shooting again. So this team's been weird, like super weird all season.
Ty Lue effect, yeah.
Yeah. One of the more frustrating teams to bet on, definitely.
Yep.
And you got to think about to play tomorrow, so they're on the front end of a back-to-back. So this game could definitely get ugly at half.
Do they play tomorrow? I know the Pistons play tomorrow, but do the Clippers?
No, the Clippers are off. But they've been playing a bunch of games this week too. They've been traveling a bunch.
I know they play this weekend. They play the Spurs, but I don't know if they. I think that's on Sunday. I don't know if they play Saturday too. If they play a back-to-back too. I haven't checked the schedule, but yeah. I mean, Kawhi, if he plays, I assume he's gonna play 15 minutes. That's my assumption, but who knows with Ty? You don't know what you're gonna get. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. We don't have any Clippers props on Prize Picks, right?
No, not yet.
So let's just focus on the Pistons. Wait and see on the Paul George news, and if we get any updates on Kawhi minutes or anything like that, a rotation, which I doubt. Ty's pretty secretive on his stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Paul George is out. Yeah, it's more minutes and with Kennard out, it's more minutes for Terrence Mann, Norman Powell off the bench. He hasn't really been playing that well this year so far, but I'm sure we're gonna get props for him as well on Underdog. We usually do. Look out for Terrence Mann. It could be a good spot for him. He's always has huge upside on games where he's given run, especially against one of the worst defenses in the Pistons and moving over to them. We got Cade still out, and we have Isaiah Stewart out now for a long period of time. So that means we get bag alert.
That's right.
Probably moving to the 5 hole. Last game, he did play at the 4 next to Isaiah Stewart. And what that did is it moved Sadiq to the bench. But now that Isaiah Stewart's out, imagine that Bagley's going to go to the 5, and Sadiq will come back into the starting position, 3 spot. And then, we're going to have the same backcourt probably with Killian and Ivy. Ivy looks great. It's a really exciting player to watch. But yeah, he's a rookie on the road. And yeah, West Coast and oh man, I don't know. The 9.5 point spread, just everything in this game is screaming to me, stay away. But the lines are so tempting. Guys being out, I don't know. What are you gonna do? I know Bogdan is, he's been getting it done with everything since Cade has been out, rebounding, assists, and scoring. Are you gonna go back to him? Do you have any interest in Ivy? Yeah. What's your overall thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I still like Ivy. They left his prop at 4. That one felt pretty good today. His scoring has been a little bit kind of all over the place, I feel. He's definitely picked it up in Cade's absence, but now we're going to see them on the road, and this could be, potential choke game for him. So I think with that in mind, that actually helps his assist rating probably even more, because if his shots aren't going to be falling, then he's going to be passing it more to Bogdan this time. Because we saw kind of the roles really show who's given way to what. Bogdan, he got a few, thankfully, last minute points in the first half, but he really took a backseat in scoring like the entire first half. All he was doing was facilitate, grabbing rebounds, and then trying to set the plays up for everybody else. So we could see that kind of hedge back. Maybe the veteran steps forward a little bit more here. I know I was fairly high on his PRA, and I still think it's pretty good. They opened it back at 24.5, but he's kind of a question mark for me right now. I have a lot of interest in Bagley today, like a lot. I think his first half PRA is insanely low right now. And
wow, they juiced. Sorry, they juiced. You were just talking about they juiced him Bogdan's PRA for 24.5 to 26.5 on Underdog.
Did they? Okay. Yeah, they left him pretty low on Prize Picks. I mean, even his first half prop, it's back down, even though he cleared it last game, but it's back down to 12.5. He, I believe, got bumped right before locks up to 13.5, but they opened Bagley at 11 flat for PRA on his first half, and I think that is an absolute smash play today.
I love me some Bagley. I really do. I always have. You just he could never stay healthy. But he's a phenomenal scorer for a big. He's a liability on defense, but definitely a scorer. He's been out for a while, right? And his first game back was last game. Played 28 minutes, so that's reassuring. Hopefully that can go up to 30 plus now with Stewart out. It was tempting me all day. I mean, they opened his points at a 13 flat, but now they adjusted on Prize Picks up to 13.5. Yeah, it's tempting, right?
Yeah, especially with Stewart off the court, because Stewart, he not only is chucking threes now apparently, but he accounted. I think he got either 3 or 4 rebounds in that first half, and now with him being off the court, especially if he can get a few more shots up, I'm thinking he can probably get 15, 16 PRA here easy, assuming he doesn't get in foul trouble.
Yeah. Shot volume should be there for him. He looks to shoot when he gets it. So yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, if you're worried about the blowout, I don't mind the first half points of the PRA. He's not so much a great rebounder, and he's got to deal with Zubac. So I don't know, and he doesn't really rack up the assists. I mean, you still like his PRA more than his points?
I mean, I really like his points. Don't get me wrong. He got 4 rebounds this last game. I'm thinking he could, if he can get one more shot up, obviously that's better for his just straight up points. But I like the wiggle room on the PRA. I just like that.
Yeah, he got 3 offensive rebounds in that first half stint, and only 1 defensive rebound, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. So with him going to the 5, maybe he just works on less shooting from the perimeter if he can help it, and just a lot of offensive putbacks.
It should increase his rebound potential, being at the 5. If that's the actual lineup they run. The other possibility, which I doubt, is that they start the rookie Jalen at the 5 and leave Bagley at the 4, but I doubt they do that. I doubt they throw out the rookie like big like that. Because he still doesn't play that many minutes overall, even when Stewart went down. So yeah, if he's at the 5, it should increase his rebound potential here. I don't mind it. I mean, I will say if I had to pick a prop, I'm with you. It's gonna be first half for Bagley because I'm really scared of the game environment. Traveling all the way to LA from Detroit and being shorthanded. This has blowout written all over it, but who knows? If Paul George is out, maybe it's a better fighting chance for Detroit.
Yeah, I like it a lot if Paul George is going to be out, and probably going to favor mostly first half props if he's going to be out, because you don't even know who's going to blow out at that point. I mean, Detroit could come in and just smoke them.
Never know. Yeah, it's regular season. Okay, so we covered. So, okay, if Paul George is out, you like Bogdan's PRA full game, correct?
Yeah.
And Ivy's assist.
Yeah, I still like his assist regardless. I think he could probably get that done in 3/4 too.
Yeah, this guy scares me. Killer Hayes. He's the only one. He's the wild card that. Oh man, such a ball hog, and he can hog playmaking too. That's just keep that just back of your mind that he's always there.
He's starting now. Yeah.
Yeah. Kojo's been basically out of the rotation. Kojo's also injured, but he also played horrible when he started that game when Cade first went out. Yeah, Killer Hayes, he's more of looks to play make more so than shooting, but he will chuck it, but more so playmaking. Okay, I'm with you on that. And then, yeah, if they bump Bogdan's PRA, I think the PR makes sense. I know some guys in the community like that. And then let's say Paul George is playing. Do you like any of Bogdan's first half, or you're gonna just stick with Bagley's first half?
Yeah, if you don't want to run Bagley for a first half prop, I think Bogdan, his first half PRA is definitely live.
Okay, there you go, crew. Keep an eye out for. I assume Alec Burks is going to be needed here, to run the second unit for Detroit. We might get his props on Underdog. I'm not going to get on the Prize Picks, but keep an eye out for his props. He can go get his own bucket and score. So see what his line is at. I imagine it's going to be 9.5 or 10.5 points. But yeah, he could definitely pick up more minutes even in the blowout and just run and going against the second unit of the Clippers here. Yeah, still don't have his props. And then yeah, Jalen, he should pick up a few more minutes, but yeah, just keep in mind he's a rook, and in bigs like him, like true centers, they take the longest time to develop coming into the league. So they coaches tend to groom them and ease them in. So I doubt he would play extreme amount more minutes. Probably still limited.
Yeah, and they did clear Corey Joseph to play.
Okay. Yep. I imagine he still comes off the bench here. Let's see. They keep bumping Bagley props here. And yeah, we're still getting, unless I need a refresh, we're still getting a 2 PR discount on Bogdan on Prize Picks versus Underdog. So, oh nope. Okay, they readjusted. They had him at 26.5, and now they put him back to 25.5. Okay. And then they adjusted Bagley, I believe. They took his PR off the board. They're probably going to repost it at something else. I think it was at 21.5, which I assume is the same here.
Is it 20.5? Unless I need to refresh.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. If you're going full game, yeah. Okay. You guys got any questions? Let us know if you guys have any more questions on the slate, because I know some of the stuff is tricky. We're also trying to figure it out, but yeah, we got plenty of time. Did you have any college basketball plays that you wanted to share for people to mix? I know you've been looking more into that lately.
Yeah, I stayed up a little bit last night trying to find a couple of them. Just honestly, man, I was so tired last night. Just trying to take today as light as possible to get ready for this weekend, because we got a pretty hefty NBA slate coming up.
Yeah, big slate tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Well, we have some college basketball guys also in our Discord, so just check out the college basketball channel and see what they have going. It seems like it's been really profitable and hitting so far, so definitely a good time to jump on it early in the season.
Yeah, And Cade did post a rankings while or probably an hour after we went live.
Cool. Did he have a favorite one?
Yeah, it looks like he has Kerr Krisa 22.7 fantasy. KERR.
That's interesting. 0.7.
Yeah, some of the scoring on here is weird. They have like 0.4, 0.2, and weird stuff.
There you go. It's a little mix there. NFL. We get an interesting Thursday night game here. In Lambeau. Packers probably one of the worst rush defense. And we get Derrick Henry. They opened him at 99.5 yards, bumped him to 104, 105, and then now it looks like he's back down to 100. So they're moving him all over the place. I like the rush outside here, obviously, because how bad, and not only how bad the Packers rush defense is, but how beat up their defense is overall. They're one of their best linebackers. Campbell is out, who's like their tackle machine. Rashawn Gary, their best edge rusher is out. And they're beat up in the secondary too. So I think this is very favorable for Henry to just run all over them, and I like that. And I also really like his rush touchdown upside here against the Packers. We see him just bleed rush touchdowns. He should get in there. And we know the Titans are gonna mainly run. And then some tackle props we like I said, with Campbell out. Our tackle gurus really like Quay Walker, the rookie from Georgia. He's all over the field, playing all the snaps he can handle, majority of the snaps, and he's really needed with Campbell out. And we know with Derrick Henry running it 20 plus times, the tackle potential is definitely there for him. And I think you can consider more mid-tier Savages for tackle assist. They have been moving him down in the box and on the line to help out with the run defense. He's no longer playing in the safety position. They upgraded this guy from special teams forward to the safety spot for him and replaced Savage there. So you could consider that, and you could consider maybe if you wanted to pair that, you can go under on. Did they take him off the board? No, they didn't. Okay, you can consider under on Douglas because he's moved out to the outside corner spot in replace of Stokes. So Titans aren't going to throw it that much. Less tackle potential for him out there. He had 2 tackles last game when he moved out there. So we got for that. And then Packers, you can maybe consider some Lazard receiving yards, but Cobb is back. We don't know how much he's going to play. He's been out for 4 weeks, high ankle sprain, so he could be on a limited snap count. So Lazard could still get it done. Titans secondary is pretty bad, so their rush defense is really good. So it's the funnel defense. Gotta imagine one of these Packers receiving options is going to get it done in terms of their yards. Did you look into NFL at all? Did you have anything? I mean, I feel like slates like this, it's good to mix or just keep it simple with NBA and just do 2 or 3 pick powers.
Yeah, I like the Henry call. Either some form of his rushing or that 0.5 TD prop looks really good, actually. And I didn't mind Rodgers. He had a 1.5 TDs thrown, and that usually at Lambeau is a pretty good spot to be at.
Yeah, and like I said, with how good the Titans rush defense is, gotta imagine they're gonna have to get it done in the air, right? And the Packers are slight favorites at home. Pretty low total though. I think last time I looked, it was like 41 or 42. But I feel like if the Packers are gonna score, it's a good chance it's gonna be through Rodgers' arm. So I don't mind that. All right, you want to do a team card, and then we'll get to building our rank list and watch out for news.
Yeah. Do you want to do a team card right now? I feel like there's still a lot up in the air that we might be.
There is.
I don't want to give out a bad early card that might be contingent.
Yeah, I guess we went over our core in scenarios as well, so
Yeah.
I don't mind it. Just holding off on a team card, and we'll just really solidify the team card before lock. Which means we'll just have to be ready basically in like 2.5 hours once we get all that news trickling in.
Yeah, we have a ton of time, and I think if anybody's jonesing to put some money down, like there's college basketball, there's football kickoff all before that. So pick your battles, save your bankroll, see how that's going, and we'll get all this late news because we could get some, late props that could be really beneficial that we might core around.
Yeah, that happened last night with the Suns when they gave us Damian Lee props and Torrey Craig on underdog. I went heavy on those really favorable lines that you don't get on Prize Picks, but underdog you will get those late bench pieces. Usually like 30 minutes to an hour before lock. So
yeah,
want to keep an eye on those. And I feel like a slate like this with all these moving pieces and guys being out and bench players gonna have to step up today, underdog is probably a little bit more favorable because you're just gonna naturally have more options because they actually give you 2 to 3 bench players per team, where Prize Picks we don't get any. So
yeah, definitely check your other betting sites, and more than likely I feel like tonight will be more of a 2-3 unless you're going up for a full power, probably first half, and if you pick your battle cards.
I agree. Okay, tomorrow it's a pretty big slate. We'll think about the stream because it's gonna be hard to fit all that in because it's 10-12 games.
Yeah, double digit.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard. Monday or Tuesday can definitely be back for a stream. It's always fun, like being here. All right, guys. Underrated says Quay. Yeah, J. Cole. Yep. He likes it, and underrated. It went 8 of 8 on his tackle props this past Sunday. So he is the tackle whisperer guru. I trust him on that. Okay, guys. We will catch you later, and we'll be in Discord. I'm gonna hop in voice chat probably in 15 minutes or so. Because I have to leave in an hour and a half. So try to get as much done before then. Got anything else, Eric?
No, just good luck, and take it a little lighter tonight. We got a big day tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, guys. Peace out.
Peace.
Puts up a tough shot. Bounces around. Goes in at the buzzer. Working it down to 2 on a deep three. Oh!
It's population.
That's how you win a game.
It's population. We hustle every day to find picks. You can tell us if you want to get rich. It's population. We robbing underdog and Prize Picks. We the best in this biz. You ain't telling us shit. It's population. We love making money quick, fast. Cooking up a team card. The whole crew about to smash. It's population. We do it for the fam, so everybody let's catch. The dopest team you ever seen. Winning money, stacking G's. Boogie setting traps, but they'll never catch me. Some people get addicted like raps to the cheese, but I got one obligation to bring Johnny to his knees. Holding back the props till the morning he knows. They'll be fishing in the shack, plotting nukes with the pros. Only with crawl, never reload. Underrated them out, amigos. We go with honest, we seeking the bloods. We know when the fucking cheat code. Party that I'm sweating, they can't be good for my health. Some may call it making bets, I call it investing in myself. I'm picking props like stocks, population for the win. Got my sips in by the buzzer now, let the games begin. It's population. It's population. It's population. We do it for the fam, so everybody let's